Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here, and I've got an amazing report to share with you that I believe you guys need to hear, because what this Navy SEAL that I'm about to bring on is about to reveal to you guys is something that is getting overlooked, that shouldn't be being overlooked. Now, he's with SavedInAmerica.org, and he's got some stories for you. So are you with me over there, Kirby?
Hi, good morning, Lisa. How are you? This is Kirby Carell, former Navy SEAL. I came in the Navy in 1967, and I retired in 2014. So I've never missed a war since Vietnam, and I've given my entire life and career to this country. So I'm very concerned about what goes on in this country, especially with our children. We have many problems that people are not paying, I don't think, enough attention to. We're finally getting a little bit more attention paid to it because we've got a director in Washington, D.C. that has been assigned by this president to look at the trafficking problems and situations here in this country. Now, what we do in Saved in America is we work directly for the parents. We have the power of attorney from the parents once a child goes missing, and that child can go missing sometimes by being a runaway. Sometimes it comes from homes, different homes in here. There's a multitude of reasons why our children go missing and how they get sucked into human trafficking. A lot of times the children are kind of loners. They are being preyed on by recruiters, sometimes in middle schools. And these middle school kids that are recruiters for gangs and for nefarious operations are out in the playgrounds looking for these kids that are kind of by themselves, off to themselves. This is why it's so important that our children today, even in middle school, have friends they can communicate with. They communicate with their parents. If there's something like this going on at school, the children need to mention it to the parents. The parents need to ask the children about these kind of things and educate themselves about these kind of things. Kids that get sucked into these things are kind of they're not educated enough. And that is one of our goals at Saved in America, is to educate the public and to educate our children on the fact that they could be vulnerable to this type of trafficking cartel, for a better word, right? So that's our job. Once we have the power of attorney, the parents will contact us through our website, which is SavedInAmerica.org. We will get a hold of them. We have to interview the parents, find out exactly what their child is doing and how the child went missing. Once they give us the power of attorney to rescue their child, then we will go out with our technology that we have from years and years of experience working all over the globe and locate that child. We have to identify the child, and in that whole process, we are talking with law enforcement. We're talking with city attorneys, making sure that we're deconflicting everything, because we are there to assist law enforcement, help law enforcement to better police their particular communities. And if we can be an asset to them, we want to be an asset to them.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. What you're offering, it does oftentimes get overlooked by society. And like you said, the police departments, the US government, yes, President Trump has issued an emergency order against human trafficking to get the ball rolling. But at the same time, they can get overwhelmed, which is why, it's such a huge thing what you and others are doing. Being a former Navy SEAL, I believe there's former police officers and your private investigators and all of this. So it's something that really needs attention paid to, because, in the event that someone listening, needs help, and that's the other thing is, it's an inspiration to see organizations like you, a nonprofit, rising up to the forefront to aid in that gap. And I think we need more of that in society. So a lot of the times, I get on here and there's so much bad news, if you will. So it's good to see that among the bad news that's happening, that there are people like you and there's inspiration coming for people even out there listening to be a part of your organization. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you also accept volunteers for what you're doing.
Absolutely. And that comes from one of our beloved first ladies, Barbara Bush. She was all about volunteerism, coming up and volunteering to help society. Not everybody. We get, as parents, as especially as parents and grandparents, we get overwhelmed sometimes with the responsibilities of taking care of our children. And we assume a lot that society is out there helping take care of our children, and they are. It's just these vile people that are causing this heinous crime on our young people that is ripping at the fiber of America. Those are the people that we target. Those are the people that we want to take off the street to stop even thinking about doing this to our children. Because when that child gets sucked into this trafficking organization and the trafficking cartel, once they're in, rescuing them as we do is one thing, and recovering them is one thing. But when the people have to put them into programs, we have very capable NGOs out there that have programs set up to bring these kids back into society because their childhoods were stolen from them, right? And they got sucked into this heinous organization. And when these guys are finished with these kids, they just put them on a street corner and they got heroin in their systems and everything else. So now it's left to society to bring those kids back. When we recover the children, we have people that we never touch the kids. We never charge the parents a dime when we take on one of these cases. It's all volunteer. When we get the children back, we have to take the children to medical care so that they can get the DNA off of it so they can prosecute these predators that have done this to our children, right? And then we have to turn the kids over to the NGOs so the NGOs can put them into a program. Thank the good Lord that we have got a law on the books now that allow these predators to pay for what they're doing to our children. So the lawyers, and you will see a whole host of new law firms coming up, advertising on TV about taking care of child trafficking victims, because now they can sue those victims or they can sue those predators for everything they have. So it's been very, very worthwhile. What we have been doing in Saved in America is a lot of times these predators have absolutely no assets, but the houses that they live in, the houses they rent, that owner of that particular property is responsible for what goes on in that house. We've been able to sue the owner of the house that these trafficking victims are kept in and sold in, and we've been able to recover money to give back to the victims through the insurance companies on their house. So that's, to me, it's a win-win for us, and it's a win for the victims, because the victims' families now have the money they need to get their child into a recovery program and bring them back down to being a healthy citizen for the United States of America.
Now, how many children have you guys saved?
We've have a multitude of kids, and the numbers reach out, but over 200 children. There's sometimes we take care of kids because they have a home here in San Diego, and we recover the kids because the pimps will come and call them on their cell phones, and the pimps will try to pick them up. Well, we stop that from happening, and we kind of count that, because a lot of times we have to go follow those kids, find out where the pimp's taking the car to set them up, and we have police officers then, because we're not police officers, we're private investigators. The police officers will stop the car and recover the girl and bring the girl back to the home where she's supposed to be recovering at.
And a lot of these kids, they get taken at, like you were saying, parties. You mentioned raves. So some for the parents listening, anyhow, that's where some of that takes place. So be cautious, right?
Absolutely. I mean, let's go into our first operation in 2014, late 2014 here in San Diego. I had no idea, after I had read the white paper from a professor at USD, had written a white paper, and this is the reason why I got involved in Saved in America. And I said, I can't believe this. And so we did a little bit of investigation. We found out where this rave was going to be down on Pacific Coast Highway, and we decided to go there and just observe what was going on. Well, it was 11:30 at night. I've got a lot of older guys bringing in a lot of younger girls that are totally underage coming into this rave, and it was shocking of what I saw and the number of kids that were being brought into this rave. So we sent one of our investigators in there with some recording glasses to record what was going on, and they were having these girls dance on stage, in their underwear and everything else. And then there were recruiters inside the rave that would be asking, these young girls, hey, would your parents know if you were gone for a weekend? Would your parents know if you could be gone a week? And just tell them you're taking a trip with friends and all that kind of stuff. So they were kind of sowing the seed about how could they pull these young girls away from their families so that they could traffic them on the weekend. So that was our first, adventure into this heinous crime that's happening in our country. All that information went to the San Diego police, and they eventually closed the whole thing down, but they had to do their own investigation. We are only there to assist law enforcement when they want it. So that's what our volunteer work does. That's why we do volunteer our time for this, is to recover these kids and get them back into society and back to their families.
Now, is it mostly, at the border that you're seeing a lot of this? Is it in the upper echelons, the elite rings? Because you hear a lot about that. Any on that kind of stuff?
Well, here in San Diego, we do have a border crossing. We do have a drug highway, basically, to bring drugs into the United States. We at Saved in America only go after U.S. children that are from U.S. families. There is a lot that happens internationally. It's too big for us to participate in and have any kind of measure of success. So we've kind of said, okay, Saved in America is going to go after American kids and work for American families. So that's what we've been doing now since late 2014, and we've been pretty successful at it. We want to be more successful. We want to get started in more places. We're working over in Las Vegas now. Easy place to find a lot of runaway kids, and an easy place to find a lot of kids that are trafficked. We have great support from the police department over there. We'll be over there in April 6th. We're doing a fundraiser over there because our organization works off of philanthropic people. We have many philanthropic people that support us. It takes about $6,700 for us to recover a child, because we've got cost as far as hotel cost. We've got to rent cars cost. We pay our investigators that are on the ground. We pay them like $200 a day for per diem for food and all the rest of the stuff that they may need. But their salaries are all volunteer.
And how can people get involved? Like, if they need help, how can they get involved? Where do they do that at? Or donate even?
Lisa, the go to our website, savedinamerica.org, and there's a button on there where they could donate to help support us. And there's also a button on there where they can volunteer. They go through that website to notify us if they have a child that is missing. So we can do our background. We can reach out to the parents, get in contact with the parents and say, hey, what can we do to assist you. And, we have to get the backstory on why that child left. A lot of parents don't have any idea why their child left because they're completely surprised by technology, and they don't. Some of the parents don't understand technology, and that's why we need everybody to educate themselves on how heinous this human trafficking crime is here in America with our children.
Awesome. Well, just all the information is going to be in the description box below for all you guys listening. If you're open, you want to volunteer or donate, all the information is below on that. But thank you, Kirby, for coming on. I believe you're a true inspiration for, millions of people out there in America. So thank you.
Well, and thank you for having me on your show. Thanks to all your listeners for listening, and now I want them to all get 25 push-ups. Okay, so they will enjoy your show much more after they do those 25 push-ups. And and thanks for having us on, and thanks for helping me get the message out about Saved in America and about this heinous crime that's happening in the great United States of America. We need everyone's help. We need everyone to be vigilant.
Absolutely, especially in this day and age. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, because it's for a great cause. And I think sometimes in the middle of what we're hearing about COVID-19, it's good to at least get our minds off of it and get focused on something where we can be beneficial. Well, thanks again for tuning in. And that was Kirby and Elisa Haven signing out.